All right, I'm here at AWS Reinvent. It's day 3, and look who I have with me, one and only Madhukar Kumar from CMO SingleStore. Madhukar, first of all, we met just before Big Data London, but here we are again. Very happy to be chatting with you today.
Yeah, very happy to be here and chatting with you as well.
Awesome, Madhukar. I know SingleStore has a lot that y'all are doing with VectorDB in the vector space as well. I'm definitely gonna get in more into it, but just for our audience, and I know, like I said, you do pretty good webinars, educational sessions for the community as well. But I'm for those who would love to learn a little about you. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell about your roles and responsibilities at SingleStore?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Madhukar. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer at SingleStore, but I also serve as a developer evangelist,
Nice.
which means I started off my career as a developer, still like to tinker with code, and eventually I moved from development to product management, product marketing, and now into marketing. So, speaking of webinars, I'm doing another one tomorrow.
Oh wow, I love it.
So that's on custom GPTs and
Yeah.
assistant AIs.
Okay, pretty sure I'm gonna be looking forward to that one. To be honest, I've got myself registered already because I get all the
Nice.
single store newsletters and all the amazing stuff that y'all are doing. So hats off to that and the marketing team. Y'all are like engine, right? There's either one or two webinars that definitely go out every week. And the topic is new, trending, and something where we can learn a lot. So thanks for that. Okay, so coming on, I know you might be having a lot of conversations with the customers here and even the prospects and everyone out there. Because I'm also talking to a lot of leaders and customers, and they're like, we are pretty excited about GenAI. It's no buzzword. We've seen it throughout the year, and they want to learn more and more about it. But what do you think about the future of generative AI? How does it look like, and how do databases play a role into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one topic that I'm sure we can talk about
Yeah,
for a
ours.
few hours if
Yeah.
you wanted to. But in terms of let's say future of AI or generative AI, one thing is very clear to me now that this is once in a generation event. And yes, I've seen through the internet, I've seen through the cloud, I have seen through, when JSON and document DB used to be a thing, and there were 42 different databases. Now I can count them on the finger.
Yeah.
And today we are talking about vector-only databases because of generative AI. In terms of the future, I think we have seen a very accelerated pace of innovation
Yeah.
in the last few months. And where I think we are headed now is the next big leap in generative AI in a couple of different things.
Yeah.
One, of course, is that we've all heard with whatever's going on with OpenAI, that I don't think there will be another very popular and very large language model. It's going to be more around the specialized LLMs or specialized agents or specialized assistants
Yeah.
that will work together in a collaborative way with others
Yeah.
to do something more complex. Interestingly, this was my master's thesis as well
Oh, wow.
on something called agent-oriented software engineering. So where we are seeing now everything headed to is kind of mimicking the human in many ways. You have a large language model
Yeah.
and that is trained on some data that's frozen in time. In addition, you have knowledge and memory,
Yeah.
very similar to what we do. You have custom prompts and fine-tuned instructions,
Yeah.
which basically makes you behave in a certain way.
Yeah.
And the third thing is, just like us, you have access to tools. So tools could be you're talking to your the web browser, or you're scheduling a calendar invite, or you're talking to a database.
Exactly.
So in that world, an assistant with these three components, the most differentiating piece would be your knowledge, information that is custom to you. And in that, the true differentiator would be what companies can look at the entire corpus of data, structured, unstructured, on-premise, in the cloud, geospatial, and have the ability to curate and contextualize that in a few milliseconds
Yeah.
for your LLM. So if you break that down, what does it mean? It means you need to have lexical search, you need to have vector search as well,
Exactly.
you need to have support for multiple data types, and you need to be extremely performant so you can do all of this in a few milliseconds. That's where we find ourselves. Again, it's not supposed to be a pitch, but I feel at SingleStore we have been incredibly lucky because we have been doing this for years and years, and we are probably the only database that had vectors since 2017 when the
Right.
first papers on transformers were written. I know it's a long-winded answer to that,
No,
but
I think
that's
that's something very important in terms of for the folks to understand as well. Because when we talk about vector, people kind of feel that it's quite new. We're just hearing about it right now. But as you said, y'all it goes back to 2017 for y'all, and that's when it all started. But it's kind of coming out to be real, and people want to definitely adapt it more and more. Uh, Also, a quick question around that. So, what do you see is like very important in terms of the real time when it comes to building these AI applications as well? Like, do you have any thoughts around that?
yeah. I think, of course, when we talk about AI, in the next few weeks and months, we are going to see some major improvements. There's always been there've been hints about that, right?
Yes,
There's
yes.
self-improvement, which means a large language model should be able to see what are its own mistakes
Yep.
and flaws and be able to fix it, which is problematic, but also really, really useful in many different ways.
Yeah.
And in that world, it's also going to be offline. So miniaturized and offline. What do I mean by that is, you should be able to run your agents on devices like glasses, your
Yeah.
watch, something that you wear, and that would have a miniaturized version of your knowledge base, your prompt, as well as your tools as well. So again, in that, I feel where the world is headed is kind of like what an operating system looks like. And the
Yeah.
operating system has memory, it has a hard disk or knowledge, and it has a bunch of apps and tools.
Wow. Yeah.
And in that world, the databases need to also be not only be able to do all of the things, but be able to do it in a few milliseconds
True.
and be miniaturized or embedded.
No, I think these are great insights in terms of the AI applications in the future as well. How it kind of looks like, and like you said, we kind of get a lot of hints day in and out about how it will be progressing. And 2024 looks pretty good to me in terms of how we're gonna progress. Another quick question in terms of something which is related to SingleStore. Can you explain what SingleStore is working on, and when it relates to AI? Are there any future announcements? If you want to give any teaser, because I know 2024 is just around the corner, so I'm
Yeah.
asking all the data leaders about it and what they're building, because it's always the end of the year and then it's like the big announcement goes out.
Yeah, we did make a bunch of announcements in our Single Store Now conference
Okay, nice.
in October, and our next release is coming out in first part of the year.
Okay,
Without
nice.
getting into too much details, but I can tell you that in terms of the themes, what we are doing is a couple of different things. One is strengthening our core, to use a workout analogy,
Yeah.
and that is taking our engine and make it even faster and better.
Right.
So there are some enterprise grade features that's coming out in that. In addition to that, we are adding, we announced Aura, which you think about Aura as the intelligence layer on top of your data.
Yeah.
And that includes things like different algorithms for vectors, in addition to what we already have, and further optimizations to take your data and when you convert it into a vector, to compress it in such a significant way that you can run it in memory.
Yeah.
So your storage is a lot smaller, and your processing speed is orders of magnitudes much faster. So we are doing a bunch of stuff around that, and then we had announced general availability of notebooks.
Yeah.
And within notebooks, I think one thing to really look out for is the ability to schedule it and run it automatically.
Yeah.
So why is that important, right? Well, now imagine if I have an S3 bucket, since we are in AWS, or your own file system, and you drop all kinds of data into it. Now imagine that all that data magically turns into embeddings and vectors, and when you're talking to your data, it's available to you in milliseconds. So now you should be able to build something
Yeah.
like that.
No, I think it's about how you all are making it easier for the developers as well. That's one of the key aspects with the notebook announcement, and yeah, I'm pretty excited about 2024 in terms of the announcements that are gonna happen, and keeping a close eye on SingleStore and what you all are doing. And this was amazing, Madhukar, and. Definitely, like I said, always it's always a pleasure chatting with you. I can go on for hours and talk about vector databases, about AI. But thanks for doing this at
Thank you.
AWS, and we'll chat soon at maybe at another conference or virtually. But we'll keep the insights coming for our audience. And thanks once again for everything that you do for the developer community.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Same for you.
Awesome.
All right.